Hello and welcome to a new series of videos where I showcase projects that are upcoming games like indie games or any upcoming mainstream games that come out in the near future, which in this video's case it will be Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. But I have to ask, what's the difference? Reimagined? Remake? Remaster? Okay, I guess remaster you just technically make an old game and then just make it crisper and added a couple of features here and there. With remake, you pretty much do everything else from scratch to make the original game better. But reimagined, isn't that both technically the same thing? Well, in this game's case, I actually look back on the old footage of the original Dragon Quest VII, or Dragon Warrior VII as it was called back then, which is almost like similar Super Nintendo game for the PlayStation, and I didn't look that much deeper into it. The main reason that this game got to my attention was Akira Toriyama, which is making a series of the series called Dragon Ball, and I absolutely loved the series as a kid. And rest in peace, good sir. And I noticed that he's actually the artist for the series, well, as far as I can see. I'm not sure if he's I know there's two artists for this one, and I'm pretty sure he might be the character artist because, judging by the character's design, looks very much Toriyama-like. Though I don't know much about what are everyone's thoughts on the original game. Like, is it like the best ever? Is it Toriyama's favourite, or what? I'm just not entirely sure. If any regular Dragon Quest players that are watching this now can let me know down in the comments below. Now, I'm not really going to dive too much deep into the story, as this game isn't fully out yet, and I don't really feel the need to, digest of what's going on here. But I can give my perspective on what's the characters been shown, like in your party members and all that kind of stuff. Well, you're in your control of this nameless man, which you can name after, like The Legend of Zelda, and to be honest, by looking at him, he definitely looks a lot like Link-like, with the whole green overall costumes and all sorts. And that almost sort of, bothers the hell out of me when it comes to this. Like, you're this nameless character, which he has, zero say on anything whatsoever, and why not just make a character out of him? If it was supposed to reflect on the player, then I'm sorry, I'm not getting the feeling of this. Okay, so in this demo, you pretty much have, two other party members. Well, first we have Kaifa the Knight, which is pretty much a typical prince that just wants to go out and be adventurous, you know, being like a typical prince and all that. Then we have the main protagonist, his friend on the place called Pilchard Bay, Mirabelle, which is almost... I'm not quite too sure what to make of her, as she's not a loudmouth, I can put into that. All I can get out of her so far was that she was all nosy and all that sort of thing and looking for trouble whenever she gets the opportunity. One little minor complaint that I want to get away with real quick is that even there are a few dialogues to be going with and few have a lot of voice acting going on, and other times they don't, which kind of makes me a little confused with the consistency that's going on with the storytelling. Some of them might not mean much, but it's just something that really bothers the hell out of me, you know. Anyway, we walk around this really overhaul hub world, which is really not that big in any other RPG that I've ever played so far. Just to be clear, I'm not really an RPG guy, as I'm not that too keen on playing them to begin with. I mean, I used to play, Flash games on Newgrounds and all that stuff as a kid, where I'm more of a big fan of the battle systems where you take turns and all that sort of thing. And as I get older, I more come into fruition that I can actually try new things and want to get into it. And this game, because it's upcoming and I really want to make videos like this, makes me want to have a look at it before I can really get some kind of recommendation of that if I'm going to play it when it comes out or not. I mean, typically you go around talking to people and you find a few jars where you can find a lot of items, and actually, which you can also find money where you can purchase new armor upgrades or even items for the battles. And sometimes you have to find these mandatory items in order to progress through. what specific people you're going to find or any of those sort of things. You do have a marker, so then you can wander around the place before you wanted to move on and grab hidden items and money before then. When you're away from town, you actually go in caves and dungeons where you can solve a few puzzles. They're all pretty simple and almost kind of brain dead, really. Then again, it was kind of the beginning of the game sort of thing, where you can, as it gets harder throughout the story when you get further into the game. Now to the battle system, which is what I really want to get into. Now, by the looks of it, it looks really simple throughout, as each characters have like basic attacks and all that sort of thing. Then you have items where you can help out other players on your party to heal yourself or stack up magic meters. Of course, each party members have their own class of differences, which our main character, which is, I guess, the more balanced of the two, which he can use magic or use his attacks to survive or be defensive. Kaifa's more of a stronger offensive type, where he gets stronger attacks. The more you level him up, he actually has a more heavy attacks to do more damage to any opponent. Then you get Maribel, who is more of a mage type, where he can use elementals attacks by the looks of it, which in the first element of attack she has is pretty much fire, which is do more damage, but she's pitiful with offensive attacks. Then on a couple occasions you will have other not main party members to actually battle alongside you, which you can't really control their actions. Though the battle can get pretty tense at times, especially when you're low on health and have to get more MPs and make sure you have enough items to actually do something. Now, you do have the option to flee from battles, but to be honest, I never want to back down a fight, especially when something was in my way and they want to fight. Then I want to level up so I can then get the battle over and done with. Each characters can also unleash their ultimate attacks called Worked Out, or something like that. Now, I'm not entirely sure that I completely noticed or anything like that, but I have not noticed much of a difference in terms of attacks that each character has done. Or I am just doing it wrong, I'm not sure. As it was supposed to be ultra attacks and make enemies go down faster, or I'm not really noticing that much difference going on. But maybe when I go further into the game, maybe I'll notice that much of a difference when I level up more. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll have to see. You can also pick and choose your battles the way you want, unlike other games where you just have other random encounters or anything like that, which can be annoying. You can also have a press the button to attack any enemies and give a head start to deal with them damage, which I kinda like. Though later on in the demo, when you're exiting like the first world of the game, is when your ship's sailing in the boat and you get these random encounters, which I can't lie, I find pretty annoying, and you can't exactly flee from them either. So yeah, overall, I kinda like what I played so far. I quite like the structure, and I like the battle system, which looks simplistic at first, but then as you get onto the game, it can get a bit hectic and pretty tense at times. The puzzle solving are very simple, but I think it will get difficult as you go along, as well, as I mentioned earlier. So, am I going to purchase this game immediately? Not quite. I have plenty of things under my belt anyway. But I will come back to it in the near future. Maybe I can do a whole review of it when it comes out, or in the next 2 to 5 years from now, I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, this game's coming out in about a few days' time, in the beginning of February. So if you like your RPGs, or you like the original Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior VII, then I think you have something to look forward to here. And so, here's me signing off, and I'll speak to you soon.